Hi, I'm Mike with Morgan Inspection Services. Imolaza sent me one of their sprinkler system controllers to install and try out. In this video, we're going to install it, and then I'm going to walk you through some of its features, and I'm going to share my thoughts on performance. Like many sprinkler system controllers these days, this is Wi-Fi based. You can do a lot of controlling on your phone. But one thing that stood out to me with this one is that it uses local weather data and evapotranspiration data to determine how much water your lawn needs. If it's really windy, if it's freezing weather, if it rained the night before, it will avoid watering your lawn. If it's really hot, it will give your lawn more water. And it does this by having access to local weather data. Another thing that it can do is customize each zone based on the slope of the yard, the soil type, and the type of nozzle. So it doesn't just treat each zone the same. It can customize each zone. It also has cycle and soak capability. So it'll water just for a couple of minutes, let it soak in, turn it back on, let it soak, turn it back on, let it soak. And that's really good for soils that are really heavy or very sloped, so you don't have a lot of runoff and water wastage. And the controller works with Alexa and Google Assistant. And if Wi-Fi ever goes out, it'll run on the saved schedule, but obviously it can't update the weather data until it reconnects to Wi-Fi. The app also lets you see water usage and also see a history of your watering cycles, which I found useful. So that's a quick overview of its main features. Now let's get into the installation and see how it actually works in practice. So I'm not gonna go through this complete installation, but basically what I did is take a picture of all the wires, and then I just removed my old controller and installed my new controller. I wanted to make sure it was level, and then I just go through and connect the wires exactly like they were before. I wanted to make sure the zone numbers stayed the same, so I make sure I connect those 4 wires on those 4 exact zones, and that's all there is to installing this thing. Now we're going to let it start up, and then we're going to install the app and get it going. Okay, so you just go to the App Store and install the Imolaza app, and you've got to go through and set up an account. I'm not going to go through all that, but it's pretty straightforward, and you need to connect it to your Wi-Fi, and you'll actually scan a code on your controller to get your app connected to your controller. And then you go through and set up each station. We'll go through the setup for one station. I'm not going to go through all 4 of these. So let's get over there. Okay, so here we are scanning the controller, and now the app is linking to my controller. And once you've got all that set up, you're going to go through and set up each station. And you'll test each zone to make sure they're watering. But as you go through and set up each station, what you're going to do is you're going to test the station, and then you go through and choose what type of grass you've got. And I've got warm season grass, so we'll select that. Then you'll select what type of spray head you've got, and then you'll select your soil type. I've got a silty clay soil. Then you go through and tell the app how much sun your yard gets, or that part of your yard gets. I have almost no shade, so I'm going to select lots of sun. And then we'll also tell how much slope the yard has. I have almost no slope, so I'm going to select slight. And then we'll select the area. I'm not going to step it off, but I think I've got about 450 square feet on this zone, so that's what I'll use here. And then we're going to set how much water depletion, and we'll set that at 50%. And then here's our weather forecast for my specific address. And then we go through and set up our schedule. I'll select the first day that I want the sprinkler system to run. I'll set it as new grass. My grass is only a year old. And then we'll select that we want to water all zones. And this automatically has it set at 33 minutes. I'm just going to set it to 25 minutes because that's what I used previously. And again, this is still going through to set up the schedule. I'm not going to bore you with all the details. And then you have an option for Smart Cycle, which does the turning the sprinkler on for a few minutes, then off and on and off to minimize water runoff. My yard is fairly flat, so I'm not worried about that. And then I'm going to tell it to not water if it's freezing or if it's really windy. Again, I'm not going to narrate this entire thing, but we set up the schedule. And I do say that I want it to end before sunrise. I want to minimize evaporation and give it time to soak in before the sun rises. And you name the schedule. I'm just going to call this normal. And then here you can see all the days that it's scheduled to water. There's no days that it is not going to water, unless obviously it rains or is windy or freezing. So we're pretty well done. All this stuff we'll just skip through, and this schedule is basically complete. So I've had this thing installed for about 3 weeks now, and so far I've been really impressed. I've monitored my water usage. This shows every day that it waters and how much it waters. And on hotter days, it is watering more than on cooler days. And if it determines that the ground is wet, it doesn't water. So it really seems to make good use of the water that it uses. I hope this video has been informative to you. I really appreciate you watching. Hope you have a great day. Take care.